What's happening, everybody? Today is a special Recon mock here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. What, you may ask, the hell is a Recon mock, Dan? Well, I'm happy to tell you, as I got slotted into the one hole. I actually didn't want the one hole in this mock. I was trying to be number 5 or 6, and somebody took that spot, or maybe the guy in the one spot shifted over, and I got pushed up. This is a mock draft that'll have 1 or 2 auto drafting teams. It will have, as I'll take Nikola Jokic first just to get the thing going. And it's all people that I've never met before. They are not followers on Twitter. There is no connection of any kind with the people in this draft room. I parachuted into a fully randomized Yahoo mock draft, and this is where it all ended up. I'm realizing as I just got started that I left my water across the room. So at some point, I'm going to go bolt over there and get it, and that'll just be your commercial break. So, sit on that. People are going to be bouncing in and out. It's going to be a little ugly. It's going to be dumb. You're going to be like, Dan, what the hell am I learning from this? Here's what we're learning with a Recon mock, as some bodies are now going off the board. We do these types of mocks because sometimes when you mock, for me at least, and show these videos to you guys with people that are followers on social media, followers of the show, you end up in this weird feedback loop where you're exclusively drafting against people that follow your work, have your list, and all targeting the same players as you. And then you start drafting those players earlier, because you want to make sure you get them on your team. Oh, this is the guy I keep talking about targeting. Why do I never get him? Well, it's because you're drafting against all people that are using the same list as you. So a Recon mock is against random Joes, some of whom care a lot, some of whom care a little. And at the end of it all, you get some data. I will also preface getting into some of the meat of this episode with the note that we're probably not going to go past about the 8th, 9th, maybe 10th round at the absolute longest. Because when you play with people that aren't as serious, or when you mock with people that aren't as serious, or you have 1 or 2 auto drafters, you can get anybody you want later in these drafts. I'll explain what I mean by that. Actually, I think we can probably do that now. I have a pick coming up, but I still have about 8 or 9 slots left. The reason that's the case is that after the first, second, third round, whatever, 4th round, these players all go at the top. There isn't a whole lot of reaching. Sometimes somebody takes the guy who's ranked like 40th at the 32nd pick, but then they fill in the gap there. And so after like the top 50, there aren't many guys that are just like kind of still sitting there on the board that you expected to have gone. Like, think about the end of pick 48. I'm zooming in on some of the names on the board here just so people watching can see. Like, at 48, there might be 2-3 guys past 48 that are taken. And when you got auto picks, it cleans up some of those guys that might go 5 or 6 picks later. But it doesn't change the board makeup all that much, as when you get later on and people start, you got pick 85, you might take the guy pre-ranked 115. With auto guys, those weirdos that no one wants that Yahoo has ranked too high, they're going to come off the board instead of continuing to sit there. My second, third round pick is coming up here, and then I'll get back into the strategy of this a little bit more. But that's why we're doing a Recon mock today. You can follow me on Twitter at Dan Vespers. You can follow at Old Man Squad on Twitter as well. Please hit a like button and comment. Likes and comments are big over on YouTube. Subscribe however you take it in the content as we ramp up towards the season. Actually filming this episode exactly 1 month from the start of the NBA campaign. And if you have a second to do a 5-star review, that would be awesome as well. But again, even with a couple of auto picks, I'm probably going to get about the same choices here at the end of the second, beginning of the third round. Guys like LaMelo Ball, Damian Lillard, Paul George, De'Aaron Fox, Larry Markkinen, Tyrese Maxey, Kawhi Leonard. These are the guys that you're going to be choosing from in that range. Nothing really changes there. So Dame comes off the board. I'm almost definitely taking Kawhi with Jokic because of the efficiency stuff. The other one I'm not certain of, Paul George is a possibility. If I want to swing for the fences and go LaMelo, that's a possibility as well. I don't think I'm going to go this early on a Jalen Johnson. That feels frightfully early. So we'll probably go some combination. If I'm going to go Kawhi, it feels like going LaMelo is extraordinarily risky. But then at the same time, aren't we hunting upside? It's either LaMelo or Paul George for me at this point. And I kind of feel like I need to lean into some of the Jokic strength. So we'll go LaMelo Ball. So here it again. This is the magic of the Recon mock. And I kind of screwed it up a little bit there because what you're also doing in a Recon mock is, so apologies, I forgot myself because I was talking through some stuff. What I should have done there is not take the guys I was targeting. Oopsies. Dano's getting his bearings here on a Sunday evening. Because the point here now is to see where the guys I actually want on my team would go if I don't take them. I'll say that again to make sure that it sinks in. The point of the Recon mock is to see where the guys I'm targeting would go if I don't take them. So in that instance, I was looking at Kawhi Leonard. I shouldn't have taken him because I wanted to see how far he might have gone if I didn't do it. Let me give the YouTubers the draft board to look at here. So there's, there you go. That's about the right size for it. So Damian Lillard I was looking at, and he went at 23. Devin Booker went at 20. Yeah, 20. Kyrie Irving at 21. That's starting to get interesting. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell went later than expected in this draft. Second round went Sabonis first, then KD, then Brunson, then Scotty Barnes. Harden and Donovan Mitchell went a little bit later. So again, this is like not late, but it's an example of I've been drafting with followers, readers, listeners, whatever, almost exclusively. So James Harden is going somewhere between 10 and 14 in every single draft. This is where he's going when you're playing with people that don't use the same list as you. Kawhi at 21, that's where he starts to become interesting again. Third round. Freddie VanVleet went relatively early. Perhaps that dude follows some of the same stuff that we do. Jalen Johnson went very early in this one. Notably here, Şengün fell all the way to 36, later than he's been going in a lot of the drafts we've been looking at. Cade at 37. And I'm not going to read off every name again, just the ones that sort of catch my eye. But this is interesting stuff. And so what you guys get to do now, and I'm not even going to show my team because it doesn't matter. It's a Recon mock. What I want you guys paying attention to here today is who's still on the board at my picks or at any juncture along the way here that maybe weren't in the last kind of either expert mock or mock with followers or readers or that kind of thing. So that's why we do these Recon mocks every once in a while. Let me talk a little bit about mock draft strategy and how to utilize them, because we do a bunch on this show. I'll be honest with you guys. A lot of the mocks I do, I pretty much throw them out. I don't actually care about the results so much as I care about the sort of broad topic look at it. Like we did a couple of Wemby mocks in a row, and I thought that the first one, we waited too long on shoring up either blocks or rebounds. Ended up kind of like punting almost a couple of things that Wembanyama is good at. If you have Wembanyama, you should probably try to win blocks because he's going to be the best in the NBA at that category. It'd be a little bit silly to draft the best player at one category and then not try to win that one. So the next time around, we shored up blocks a little bit earlier. Maybe certainly didn't get the rebound guy in that one. And then you try to win the guard stats and you win shot blocking on top of that. That's where you sort of get that extra little bump. Oh, my turn just came up real quick. So again, Recon mock. Guys that are still on the board for me around, this is at 47 right now. I picked 48. I like Derek White a lot. Still here. Although he might go in a minute. Jarrett Allen at 48 is quite reasonable. Jamal Murray just came off the board. So Derek White and Jarrett Allen, I'd probably be taking here 48, 49 back-to-back. I'll tell you who I'm not worried about. I don't care where Miles Bridges goes. I'm pretty much not involved in him. And I don't care where Zion goes. So I'm going to take two guys that I have no interest in at this point. And I want to see where the rest of these dudes go that I've been looking at. How far is Derek White going to fall in this, pros versus Joes kind of mock? Okay, let's talk a little bit. Let's rewind for a second and talk a little bit about how to utilize mock drafts on the other side of this very quick commercial break where I get my water. Okay. I don't want to lose my voice going into a week where I'm going to do another 10 shows in 5 days. That would be catastrophic. Catastrophic, I say. So Derek White went at 51. Jared Allen went at 52. That's what I was curious about there. Other notables from the 4th round. Cat went at 38. Jalen Williams went at 40 in this one. So, again, falling deeper than when you're in these mocks against other people that do the same stuff as you. Jaylen Brown went at 42. It's a little earlier than expected there. Jimmy Butler, where we thought. Miles Turner, where we thought. Franz, Jamal. Nothing super notable. Nick Claxton went pretty early here in the 5th round. Went go 4 centers and 5 picks. Jared Allen, then DeRozan, then Gobert, Claxton, Duren. Boom, 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 boom. If you don't have a center, you're in real trouble. And again, I mean, I have Jokic, but like, do I care? And I screwed this up again. I should not have taken Kawhi. I should not have taken LaMelo. I should have taken, like Maxey and De'Aaron Fox there or something like that to see where the other guys go. I want to see where my guys are going when I'm not battling with myself. I hate that positive feedback loop. So again, let's get into the mock draft strategy. For the 3rd time, I'm saying it, and this time I'm actually going to do it. I think the best way to run a mock, run a mock, is with a cross-section of everybody. But that's hard to do. And you could run an industry mock, which I am doing right now. We have a 9-cat roto industry mock that's going as we speak. And it's going to be so much fun. We're going to have all those guys on the pod to break them down. But industry folks, we all know what we all do. We know everybody's list. We know what we all talk about and the guys that we favor in that mock. So everybody's going to be jumping over one another to try to get the guys that they've been talking about so then they can come on the mock and they can say, look, I got the guy and this is what I'm trying to do. Super fun. Maybe not the most helpful from just a who did you get player standpoint. Pretty helpful when we hear logic and why they want these certain guys, but like the actual spot where they got them, not always the most useful information. Also, not super useful, mocking against people who follow you, for me at least. I'm trying to beat myself to my own choices. That's inaccurate because not everybody follows my stuff. The teams that I'm going to play against at some point this year, a couple of them probably do. And then some follow Josh and some follow, put the list out there. Everybody's got their list. Some follow my friends at FBI. Some follow Adam Stock and some follow listen, you guys are going to hear from all these people. There's 25 awesome fantasy analysts that I could list there. Not trying to leave anybody out. Just say any of them. That's reality. In your actual real life draft, you're going to be drafting against 11 individuals who follow probably 11 different sources, or at least like 7 different sources, and then some that probably don't follow any sources. That's real. You're going to have 2 people in your league that probably don't even pay attention. And you're going to have 9 other teams in your league that probably look at, 6 to 9 different other websites to get their information. Maybe some of them just do their own numbers. So everybody's working off these different lists. You don't really know who everybody in your league values. I'm sure there's that team in your league that loves the Lakers, so they're going to get all Lakers or all Knicks or whatever it is. But you don't really know who they're going to value. And so that's why I believe it's really important to use mocks 2 specific ways, and I'll tell you guys what those are in just a second here, but my turn is coming up, and I want to take 2 guys that I'm not going to draft. So I'll take I'm going to take Clint Capella, and I'm going to take Keegan Murray, because I don't give the first flying where those guys actually go. I have no plan on taking them anywhere near their ADP, and so here we go. I'm drafting the world's most god-awful not Dan fantasy team because I want to see where everybody else is going. Quickly, before we get into my 2 main tenets of mock drafting, Immanuel Quickley fell all the way to 59 in this Joe's mock. Mikal Bridges at 61 was notable. Tobias Harris all the way down at 67 in this Joe's mock. Mark Williams at 69. This is interesting. There goes. Well, actually, that's kind of relatively early. D'Lo at 64, Hartenstein at 74, and Hartenstein at 75. It's good to know. All right, people are starting to leave the draft now, so we're getting to the point where the information is becoming trash. There's like 5 or 6 teams that have decided that not enough people are actually paying attention, and so I think we can probably stop looking to see where guys are going because you're just going to see names coming off the very top of the board. That's no longer helpful. But what we did learn from this mock is, and this is actually kind of interesting, is like someone like a Hartenstein, these guys tend to go a little bit closer to what their pre-rank is in a Joe's mock as opposed to a pros mock. And when I say pros mock, I just mean people that take fantasy very seriously. Here are my 2 tenets of mock drafting, and I'm going to basically stop paying attention to this now because I think we got what information we could glean from this particular set of people. 1, once you find out what your draft position is, run a bunch of mocks from that position with different clientele, whatever you want to call it. So if you have the 3rd pick, do a 3rd pick mock against Joe's. Do a 3rd pick mock against Twitter people who take it more seriously. Do a 3rd pick mock against Reddit folks. Do a 3rd pick mock against people that follow me or Locked On or whatever. And just try to see how it all fits together. Who are the guys that tend to end up near you? Oh, I keep ending up with the choice between these 3 or 4 guys. Because that'll be relatively consistent over mock drafts. Oh, I took Luka and I forgot to shore up assists or I forgot to shore up rebounds. And you start to get a feel for like what round you need to make sure you get this stat in, what round you need to make sure you get that stat in. So that's number 1. And I would suggest doing that for the league you take the most seriously. If you're like me and you're in anywhere from 9 to 15 different leagues, all of them daily, all of them whatever, you're not going to have that luxury. I do, as you guys know, at the last minute, I sort of drop in on a number of Yahoo public prize leagues, and you find out your draft position half an hour before the draft starts for those. So you don't have the opportunity to do 4 or 5 mocks from that particular spot. Hopefully you've kind of done a few at a bunch of different spots to get a feel for those guys that are getting back to you, or you just fricking wing it because the competition in those is not not world beaters. The other tenet of mock drafting that we'll talk about here after we kind of found out where a few guys went. The other one, besides doing a bunch of mocks from the draft position that you found, is basically what we're doing right now, which is understanding what you can actually learn from a mock draft. And a Recon mock, and a couple people came back into the room, doesn't matter, is telling us, not anymore, because now everybody's auto-drafting, so I would leave, but I actually want to talk about a few of the players that went in interesting spots in this one. We're just getting a better idea, and this one was crummier by all accounts. Sometimes you have like 2 auto-drafters through the first 8 or 9 rounds. This one, people left after the 6th, so 7th round on became sort of useless information. But now you have an idea of where guys are actually going. So you push that together. You do the Joe's mock. I got to take my turn here so nobody yells at me. I'll keep this moving along. I'm going to take Jeremy Grant and RJ Barrett just to have a good laugh again. So now I guess the first example I gave kind of knocked out both of those topics. When you're doing a bunch of different mocks from one draft position with a bunch of different types of other general managers, you are actually kind of knocking out both, in my opinion, tenets of mock drafting. You are seeing what different groups of managers do, depending on who they follow, depending on how seriously they take it. And you're also getting an idea of what chunks of players tend to get near your pick in each round. That's the two things, main pieces of information you should be trying to take away from your mock draft habit. You should not be mock drafting with the same people and over and over and over again, which again is part of what ends up kind of happening on my YouTube channel or my podcast feed, because followers of mine on Twitter jump on and then you get similar results each time. That's actually not telling us all that much. You could do one draft from each position with that group. That's fine. Kind of get a starting point. But you should be pairing that up with parachuting into a Joe's mock or jumping in to a different analyst's mock draft. Like, it's cool for me to jump in. I think I forget which other one. I jumped into a Josh mock, and I think Alex Brutha ran one that I jumped in as well. And I may have screwed that one up by missing half the draft. But apologies aside on that doinking, now you're seeing what other people's followers are doing. Okay, what is it like? What's different from when I mock against people that follow my stuff? Anyway, we're going in circles a little bit here. Main takeaways from this particular Recon mock. Joes are, in fact, letting James Harden slip beyond the first or second pick of the second round. It's happening. Even if we're not seeing it in our mock drafts, it's happening. Same story with Donovan Mitchell. I screwed up by taking Kawhi and LaMelo at the second, third turn because I wanted to kind of see where they were going. But, Freddie VanVleet went early in this one. Maybe he's not going to fall as far as we thought. Third round was extraordinarily not interesting in this particular ball game, but Jalen Williams fell all the way into the early 40s. Fifth round, Derek White fell all the way to 51. Jared Allen to 52. That I thought was relatively interesting. Immanuel Quickley all the way down at 59. So there are these guys that we've been hyping up on this show and on other shows. We analysts like to put a little hype on things, put a little spice on it. But not everybody hears what we're talking about. Tobias Harris down at 67. Mark Williams at 69. And then people started leaving, and I think we can throw out most of the other data. But this is really good info because it's telling us these guys that we keep saying, oh, man, they got to go early. We got to jump on them. Maybe not the case as much as we thought. And maybe, just maybe, the ADPs we're seeing on Yahoo are not as inaccurate as it feels like. Because like James Harden's ADP last time we checked was still around almost, it was at 20 and a half this morning. We're like, 20 and a half? Dude's not making it to 20 and a half. But here he goes in this particular draft. I think he went at 17 here. I know that's not 20 and a half, but it's also not the like 13, 14, 12, 13, 14 that we're seeing in all of the industry stuff. It's different when you get out there with the masses and run a mock draft. And frankly, I think for most of you, you'll get more of your targets on your real draft night than you do by mocking with all of us together. So yes, I'm disappointed that this one didn't have better participation through the 8th, 9th, 10th round. We had participation through the 6th. Womp womp. But I got to give you guys a little bit of a rundown on how I like to interpret data from mock drafts, and I hope that that was somewhat useful for you as well. Tomorrow, bad singing alert. I can screw it up. I actually can create bad singing probably better than I can hit the proper note. Tomorrow, it's ADP Monday. So we'll be cataloging all of the new ADPs on players, and we'll be doing a show on who moved up, who moved down, and who has now become a target and who is no longer a target. And also, I don't know, actually. I haven't gotten as far as the other show for Monday. Maybe we do another mock and hope we have better participation, or maybe we come up with one of our other fun ideas. I have a few of them written down. Folks are asking about ADP battles in the upper echelons, guys to stash, guys that are opening night watch list dudes or otherwise known as deep sleepers, and burger board guys, what I like to call one away, meaning one move or one thing away types of guys. And these are all folks to look at for different formats, Roto Games Cap or any Games Cap, I guess. You can take those one move away guys. Like a Klay Thompson, for instance, to me is one away. He's going to play plenty, but he's not going to post great fantasy numbers unless Kyrie or Luka is down. So he's one away from being a guy you drop into a Games Cap format kind of thing. So I got all these fun ideas. We'll work them through over the course of the week. I'm sure Yahoo's going to update their board in the not too distant. Oh, did it happen? No, it didn't happen. My bad. I thought I saw it happen, but I did not, in fact, see it happen. We'll keep this one brief, folks. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday. Recon mock. Everybody's looking at me getting put into auto pick. This is Recon mock Sunday. We did a lot of these last year, and frankly, I think maybe too many of them. But one a week, one every 2 weeks, I think is probably useful just to see where guys are actually going when you mock with the public. I'm Dan Vespers. Like, follow, rate, subscribe, comment if you saw something else that was interesting or you hated something, whatever. As long as you're respectful, I'm happy to chat with you about it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. See you long.